In 1922, Frank Dufresne of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service was fishing on the Kobuk River in Alaska. And he saw the Eskimos there fishing with a lure carved out of whalebone with a small tuft of red feather and some polar bear fur on it. And they were tearing them up on the Kobuk with these little lures. They gave him a few, and later in the year when he was down to his last one, he decided to recreate it with some more modern materials. At least what was modern for 1922. I guess polar bear fur wasn't that hard to come by in 1922 in Alaska. And I found the pattern in Joseph Bates' Streamer Fly Tying and Fishing, published in 1952, but this is not a forgotten fly. You'll see several references to this fly out there, and in one of the references, I saw it referred to as the official fly of the Alaska fly fishers. So this little bait fish pattern, just over 100 years old, I think it's a pretty cool fly. So there it is in the vise, an Alaska Marianne. Pretty cool little bucktail. Of course, this one is not actually a bucktail, that is polar bear fur. And I'm going to tie this on a size 8. It's a 2 extra heavy, 5 extra long streamer hook. Let's pinch that barb right there, try to. And get it caught in and straight. Got some black thread. This is a 140 denier. I'll catch it in, about midway and take it down to the start of the bend. And the tail on this one, some red hackle barbs. It also said red hair, so it's not a big tail. It's just going to give it a little touch of red here in the back. So let's see. Okay, I think that's going to be enough for us right there. And either bury or snip this excess off right here. We'll go ahead and take our thread up front and catch in some tinsel. And this is a medium mylar, gold on one side, silver on the other. I'm going to catch it in with the gold side toward the hook so that when we flip it, the silver side toward the hook, so that when we flip it, you'll see the silver. I think I've got that. There we go. And just open loose wraps, take it all the way back here. Now somewhere up near the front, let's catch in some white floss. And I am going to catch it in up front and wrap it down and back. So I'm going to have at least 2 layers here, probably more. I might go down and back up and then halfway down and back up again, just to see if I need to. If you have some black showing underneath, you might want to do that. Or just not worry about it and make sure that the majority of your body is white. So I'll speed this up because this is probably going to take a couple of minutes here. Okay, I don't think I cut enough floss here to go down and back up, so I'm just going to live with what I have. Let's go ahead and catch this off. And I got a couple of scraggly strands coming out. We'll trim those in a minute if we need to. But let's go ahead and wrap this rib up. And this is a medium, so you don't want to put them too awful close together. Just whatever you think looks right. So it's kind of half white and half silver. Okay, I think that's going to be fine right there. Now before we catch this wing on, let's just snip this little bit. These little scraggly stuck out right there. Probably not a big deal, but while we're at it, we can go ahead and do that. Now here is my little patch of polar bear fur. It's kind of white, kind of aged, and kind of yellow. So if you don't have this, which a lot of people will not, just use white bucktail. I think it's going to look just fine. Go ahead and put it in your stacker. And this polar bear fur does stack pretty well. But some of the hairs are going to be short. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Pull this out, and then we're going to catch it in about here to the little bit past the bend of the hook. But see some of those short hairs right there? They're not going to catch in. And that's fine. I've got enough in here that I won't have to keep them all. So I'm going to catch it in about right here. Just pinch wrap, a couple more going back right here, and you'll see some of these hairs are going to come out. but that's fine. It's going to leave us with enough of a wing right there. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to spin my thread clockwise and cord it up so I can put a pretty tight bite right there going back. Now a couple more going forward, and I'll step off this front before we worry about any cleanup here. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. This one might be laying a little bit flatter than I wanted, but I'm not going to try and put any wraps up under it. I'm just going to let it lay kind of flat like that. Okay, now a couple wraps to just smooth this area out. Let's get our thread to the back of this head and then catch in our eyes. And if you don't have jungle cock eyes, which this original did call for, I would just consider making a big head out of thread and then painting a couple of yellow or white dots on it. It's not going to be exactly the same as the original because they do call for some pretty long jungle cock eyes here, but again, a lot of people might not have this either, so I'm going to use them because, you know, I've got them. Okay, that's it. They are kind of long and kind of big. So let's do the same thing on this side here. Okay, are they even? Yeah, close enough. The one I had in the vise at the beginning, they weren't very even. And it's still going in my streamer box. So let's snip this excess, then build a big old streamer head up here. Okay, and I'm going to whip finish it right here, somewhere in the middle of this head. So that is a pretty big head on there, but that's about how big you'd need it. Maybe even a little bit bigger if you were going to paint eyes on it. But I think we got a fishable fly. I'm going to just put some head cement on this thing and put it in my box. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.